Got ourselves another one here. All right. John Donovan, 7018. This one's for you, man. This one is a freaking disaster. Insulation absolutely everywhere. This is an absolute, no question, hands down voiceover I'm doing today. This crawl space was in terrible condition. And the reason why, I'm going to be honest with you guys, the reason why this house is gorgeous. You look at it from the outside, you're like, wow, this is really nice. You know, it's probably in the mid threes. This insulation is everywhere. The smell in this crawl space is absolutely terrible. There's been more wildlife coming in and out of this place. It's been like a freaking saloon. So these floor joists, they're all 2 foot on center. And sorry about the spider webs. The spider webs were so bad. I had such a hard time keeping them off the camera lens. It's like no human being has been down here in absolute years. These floor joists are 2 foot on center. So the bat insulation alone is so big and heavy. And because they're engineered floor joists, they're so wide. Look at the fungus on this beam. The fungus in this crawl space was so bad. All right, so you're going to see we're already getting into removing all this insulation. These wires, they're not holding up anything. They use these wires to hang up the insulation. With this style floor joist with the webs in there, there's just no place for these hangers to latch onto. Sorry about the spider webs. I'm serious. This is one of those George Washington ones I was talking about. I already have so many spider webs in my face by this point. It was crazy. But whatever is coming in here, which is chipmunks, mice, I know larger animals getting in here, but you can see, if you can see now, you can see exactly the fecal matter, the weight of whatever has been cruising around just completely did a number on this. And I spoke with the homeowner, and I feel really bad. You know, they're broke. They got the driveways all busted up. They have to limit themselves to what they can spend, and their crawl space was definitely not a place where they can spend it. And I get that. You know, if you don't have all that much cash, you got to make a priority list. These are what the hangers look like. When they come, you buy a box like this. Here you go. What is it? Simpson Strong Tie makes them. I love this. When I framed, we use a lot of their material. They make great hangers. They make all kinds of stuff. But these wires, they're good if you use them according to the label, but they don't grab onto anything. Look at all this insulation. There's no place. There's absolutely no place. You can see how they use this one right here. They just rested it on that bottom cord of the actual joist itself, and that's not going to cut it. The insulation should be tight to the subfloor all the way up. Paper side touching that plywood. But it just hanging like that, no way. That's exactly why it just looks like a disaster. And the smell. I mean, I feel bad because you could tell that he kind of gave up. He already gave me a heads up. Hey, you know, good luck down there. I'm like, oh boy. All right. I was like, okay, well, thanks. You know, it's a tall enough crawl space. I mean, you can get down there with some big garbage bags. Even if you went down there and did 3-4 bags in a weekend, I know it stinks, man. I know I've pulled insulation out, but man, you've got insulation leaning on plumbing lines. The odor itself is horrible. I'd remove all this insulation, every bit of it. Don't even replace it. You're not going to be able to hold it up unless you use spray foam insulation. Now, I'm not gonna, my opinion. I've been hearing a lot of stories, a lot of things about spray foam insulation. I've seen tests on it with the fire, the chemical if it's not mixed right. I've had some homeowners tell me that they had to leave the house because they had to remove all of it. It was crazy. Um, but anyway, I mean, it's like everything else. You gotta mix things right. If it's not mixed well, obviously. But look at all that insulation, just leaning on top of all the wires, plumbing, just an absolute disaster. This is some heavy insulation. A 6 foot piece of this 2 foot wide, 6 inch thick insulation. It's got some weight on it. A chipmunk, a mouse, a snake slithering over on top, a possum. God, a possum will knock it down so easily. And you can see urine stains, fecal matter, but this is all just shot. I wouldn't even try to pin this back up. It's too much. So let's say you hire a contractor, you decide you don't want to do it. Okay, this crawl space is about 1,100 square feet. I'm going to say for a company to just remove all this insulation, here's a hanger for you, doing absolutely squat. I don't even know why they even do it. Ugh. Yeah, that thing, look at this. Oh, see ya. I barely even I barely even dragged it down. Like, I would think a company would charge you about, maybe, they got to make money. A couple guys, no, minimum about $1,500. See this insulation, how it's just resting on that bottom cord of the joist? It should be tight to the top, right to that subfloor. Look at that hole right there. That hole right there, that's a mouse. That's probably a mouse. Look at that void that's in there. I mean, that's heaven for anything that just wants to hang out up there and just cruise. Spend the night, especially now. See the wire? The wire, there's no place for that wire to catch, to hold up the insulation. Nowhere. Anybody that knows how to invent stuff, man, this is an idea for you. For engineered floor beams, think of a way how you can hold up this wire. And, pitch it to one of these stores. And you know what? You might, I don't know, you might do well. I'm sure a lot of people have thought about it, but nobody wants to pay the extra money. But look, you can see all the insulation just already on the ground, leaning on cables. If I can describe the smell, it's a hamster cage, a very dirty hamster cage. Is what I'll probably it's what I probably would describe the best. Get rid of the insulation. Look at that. Whatever went into that right there was a big animal. That right there was probably a possum. We have a lot of possums. Remove all this insulation. This vapor barrier is shot. It's shot. So that's got to come up because the large amount of fungus. That's bad. So my hand caved in through this clay. So we have some burrowing holes here, which tell me that these are probably chipmunks. My hand went right through the ground. Look at that hole. These little devils are burrowing. Look at that. They're burrowing underground. They are living la vida loca down here. I'm telling you, for real. Nobody hangs out. Nobody hangs out down here, and they know that. The cat's out, the mice play. That's exactly what all these animals do. There's no human presence down here. They feel safe. They come. They play, and this is what they do to your crawl space right underneath your feet while you're upstairs watching TV in the evening time. They're all hanging out down here, having martinis, mating, making a mess, crapping, peeing. Like I said, not a fan of this insulation with these beams. You got plumbing lines. This insulation just leaning on top of the plumbing. Absolutely horrible. This crawl space would need a full encapsulation. No question about it. A full encapsulation is what it's going to need. Too much humidity. The fungus, once that fungus is already established into the wood, it's not gonna just go away. It's not. It's already embedded into the wood itself, and that fungus is eating away at the nutrients of the lumber. All the starches and the sugars. All it needs is a proper amount of humidity, and it'll continue to thrive. So even at about 65, 70, 75% relative humidity, that fungus can stay alive. You get nice rainy day, even a summer afternoon, that wind, that nice humid breeze comes in those vents. This fungus is thriving. It's doing fantastic. I would definitely seal off all the vents, run a commercial grade, throw a real thick liner down there, 10, 15, 20 mil, that's all acceptable. Run it up the walls, nail it. Look at that. Look at that hole. Look at that hole. Oh my God, look at that hole at the bottom of the brick. Yeah, that's big enough for a raccoon to squeeze in, a cat, a possum. Definitely a possum. Anything really. Well, there's the entry point. Definitely get some concrete, seal that up. You're looking at with the encapsulation, removal of the insulation, and definitely a pest control program. I'm John Donovan. I'm gonna probably swing this crawl space restoration cost at about $12,000. That's including a pest control service and these spider webs on my camera lens. I'm not going to charge extra for that. A good cleanup. Probably hear the sirens in the background. There's sirens going off everywhere. A good clean out. I wouldn't spray anything on the wood. A dehumidifier will condition the crawl space. Have this company, whoever installs the dehumidifier, make sure that they come out periodically, once a year minimum. That filter has to be changed. The condensation pump, if they put one, the condensation line itself has to be blown off. It has to be. Because you'll get that slow, steady drip come the fall, and you get that sludge buildup, and it'll back up into the machine, and then you're going to have some problems. Yeah. This is where I saw that mouse. I saw a mouse cruising on by on the side of at the corner of my eye. I saw something right. It could have been a chipmunk. But they know I'm down here now. and they're like sitting still. Or they might be out and about, grabbing some nuts, whatever. If it's a snake, he's probably definitely chilling because it's freezing in the morning. But definitely get rid of all this plastic. I'm going to say $12,000 would be the cost to get this crawl space where it needs to be. If you decide you want to do things that are extra, have at it. Right now, encapsulations around here are starting at about $8,000-$9,000. You do it yourself, obviously you're gonna have, you're gonna save a lot of money. But folks, if you like what you're watching, thank you so much. Instead of buying me a cup of coffee for entertaining you, hit that like and subscribe. I appreciate that so much. means a lot to me. This channel is growing. Crawlspace awareness, any kind of help I can do, pass my knowledge on to homeowners or buyers, whatever the case may be in the real estate. This market's going to get better. We're going to start doing great. But you know, a crawl space like this is not acceptable. Especially if you're trying to buy the house, you need to know about all this. Because you buy this house, yeah, the inside might be nice, you like it, all of a sudden you get down here and you're like, oh my God, now you own this. You're gonna have to fix all this stuff, and the critters they're not gonna just stop coming. They're going to continue to come. But all this is a lot of insulation. You'd be surprised how much insulation this is outside in your yard, piled up in stacks. It's crazy. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll definitely catch you on the next one. I got a lot of inspections coming up, so I'll see you soon. Adios.